After searching for like half fucking hour or maybe even just an hour or something, I've now found something that we can talk about. Even though there was something else that I wanted to go through, but it was kind of about COVID, and so I thought, well, you know what? I'm not a news thing, and I also don't want to be there. And I thought, well, let's actually go through something new. And I am on the instanerd.me site, and it is actually a very cool site because there's just a bunch of interesting things like this one. On average, those who eat with other people or with other person eat about 35% more than they do when they are alone. And there's a next button, and there is just another fact and another fact and another fact, which is something that's fucking amazing, and I appreciate that. So this is what we're going to go through today. The link, as I said, is going to be down in the description, as well as some other links to the podcast and so on and so on and so on. August 15th is National Relaxation Day, declared by 9-year-old Sean Muller in 1985, now being accepted by many people and organizations. Interesting. And there's also a find out more button, and we're going to check that out as well. After the black and white, red was the first color that got its name, and it was the first color used in prehistoric art and decoration. Probably because it is kind of easy to get through stones. Of course, if we talk about, or is this purple? I think it is purple. There is some really, really, really expensive and especially also time-taking ways how to get red pigment. And I think through just some animals that are only living on fucking cactus, well, you know what I mean. And yeah, but I wonder what happens if I press find more. What is gonna happen? A brief history of color in art. Yeah, let's actually have a look at red. First employed in prehistoric cave paintings. I mean, well, thank you. No, I don't want to subscribe. This red is probably one of the most expensive reds you have. And red was also quite expensive, but I'm going to read. First employed in prehistoric cave paintings, red ochre is one of the oldest pigments still in use. Found in iron-rich soil and first employed as an artistic material, as far as we know. In prehistoric cave paintings, red ochre is one of the oldest pigments still in use. Centuries later, during the 16th and 17th century, the most popular red pigment came from an coccinelle insect, a creature that could only be found on Piclipia cacti, in Mexico. These white bugs produced a potent red dye so sought after by artists and patrons that it quickly became the third greatest import out of the New World, quote unquote, after gold and silver. As explains Victoria Finlay in A Brilliant History of Color in Art, Raphael, Rembrandt, however, and Rubens all used coccinelle as a glaze, layering the pigment atop other reds, like red ochre, to increase their intensity. A non-toxic source for red pigment, the coccinelle bug is still used to color lipsticks and blush today. And as far as I know, you dry them and you break them. You just smash them together and then you have the pigment. The whole bug. Blue is also pretty cool, but is there also, well, nevertheless. Let's go to the next thing. The human blood is colorless. It is the hemoglobin, a pigment present in the red blood cells that is responsible for the red color of the blood. The more we know. But I do wonder if they have a dedicated just source there or something. What can I do there? About, story, subscribe, login? No. Anyway, originally the cocktail was considered a morning eye-opener. Some speculate that that's how it got its name, a metaphor for a rooster, cock, heralding the light of day. Is it cocktail like just the drink? Am I just right there? I wonder. Babies have more bones in their bodies than else. As the babies grow older, some bones eventually fuse together, like in a skull, resulting in fewer bones as an adult. In situations when you can't use the bathroom, you can hold your pee with crossing your legs while standing. This helps you compressing the urethra and surrounding tissues. Don't cross your legs when sitting. Doing this or any other position that causes pressure of the bladder can result in pain or possible loss of bladder control. Is this now applicable to women and men? I wonder. But let's go to the next thing. Bad breath and bad teeth are an instant turn-off for potential dates. If deep dental cleaning doesn't improve a person's breath, he or she could have a stomach bacterium called H. pylori, which causes bad breath. Yeah. J is the only letter of the alphabet not used in the atomic symbol for any element. It's not. Get the best facts in your inbox. No, I don't want to subscribe. Thank you. One of the differences between identical twins is that even if they share the same DNA, they do not have the same fingerprints. The explanation is that while they were growing inside the mother, they touched the amniotic sac. When touching it during weeks 6 to 13, the patterns of the fingerprints were changed. Pretty interesting. I didn't know that. Even though they are identical. Lead pencil is the mixture. What lead pencil in his mixture is containing finely ground graphite and clay that is mixed with water and baked at very high temperatures. We call it lead because Englishmen who first discovered graphite believed they found lead. What is lead? I don't know what lead is. This is some kind of ore. Lead from the man's chest. Bullet, pellets, slug, steer, well, whatever. And the thing with graphite is that you're using it layer by layer, which is a pretty interesting thing. Yeah, and this is also why a pencil works. You're just basically rubbing the pencil off on the paper. Glass is made by melting together several minerals at very high temperatures. Silica in the form of sand is the main ingredient, and this is combined with soda ash and limestone and melted in a furnace at temperatures of 1700 degrees Celsius, which is, just because I'm cool, 3092 degrees Fahrenheit. Have you actually seen this? Yes, you have. Pretty cool. Other materials can be added to produce different colors or properties. Anyway. Genghis Khan was the founder of the Mongol Empire. He was responsible for the death of so many people that the Earth's carbon level dropped by almost 700 million tons. Well, I mean, you could say, well, I'm proud of that, but I don't think so. I don't necessarily think so. The hottest part of a chili is not the seeds, as many people think, but the white flesh that houses the seeds, known as the placenta. I do wonder where this article is from. Australian Geographic. By the way, I like the style of this artsy thing there. And I think it is also just a really great way to get to know new websites, because I've been actually looking up quite some websites before, just because I wanted to get new cool articles. And yeah. Oasis have been made the world's hottest chili, but what makes chili hot and what is the best cure for the burn? Your eyes are watering, your nose is running, and your mouth feels like an inferno. Instinctively, you reach for the glass of cold water in front of you and slosh the liquid down your throat. To your dismay, the water does almost nothing to douse the flames. If only you had a glass of full cream milk. After all, that is the common cure for chili heat, or is it? Humans have been cultivating chilies for 6,000 years, but we are still learning new things about the science behind their heat and how it reacts with our body. Why did chilies evolve heat? The hottest part of chili is not the seeds, as many people think, but the white flesh that houses the seeds, known as the placenta. But why did chilies evolve to be hot in the first place? Most scientists believe capsaicin acts mainly as a deterrent against mold-bee mammal predators such as rodents. If a mammal eats a chili, the seeds are completely destroyed by the mammal digestive system, says Mark. But recent research suggests that it may not be the whole story. US scientists working in Bolivia have studied how hot and mild chilies differ in their subsequent ability to a certain harmful fungus. It turns out that the hotter the chili, the better its defense against the fungus, leading the researchers to propose that heat may have evolved to help chilies deal with harmful microbes as well as hungry mammals. Maximizing the heat. Some varieties of chili, so I'm not going to read everything, but I'm just going to nitpick. Some varieties of chili are naturally hundreds of times hotter than others, but Mark says they all have a maximum genetic potential that can be achieved through clever growing techniques. Working with NSW business, the chili factory, Mark used liquid runoff from a worm farm to fertilize a particular spicy chili known as the Trinidad Scorpion Butch Tea. Months later, the Butch Tea claimed the Guinness World Record for the hottest chili. Why chilies are unpleasant? Fooled into thinking chili is hot because it is actually not. It's just something that we think, apparently. Well, yeah. Anyway, I would have actually liked to just know how to really deal with it instead of milk. I could actually look it up. Milk. What do we have known for more than a century, though, is that the capsaicin compound is hydrophobic, meaning it doesn't dissolve in water but readily dissolves in fats and oils. And this explains why full cream milk and not water is the traditional choice for getting the fire. Something with a lot of fat in it, like yogurt or milk, is going to dissolve the compound and wash it away, says Mark Peacock, a plant scientist from the University of Sydney, who this year helped to cultivate the world's hottest chili, the Trinidad Scorpion Budge tea. My favorite remedy is olive oil, he says, but it is not the most pleasant. Yeah, if you're on a very low calorie diet, then I wish you good luck. Before the creators decided to name the show Friends, other working titles included Insomnia Cafe, Friends Like Us, and 6 of 1. I like Insomnia Cafe. If a cat is frightened, the hair stands up fairly evenly all over the body, but in situations when a cat threatens or is ready to attack, the hair stands up only in a narrow band along the spine and tail. Which is actually kind of what we see in movies and stuff, or drawn things like comics and stuff. And they're actually accurate, aren't they? People who suffer from anxiety, depression, loneliness, and low self-esteem have a limited ability to experience love. Do they? Fucked up thing. Beer can reduce the risk of heart disease by slowing down the digestion and absorption of food and reducing cholesterol levels. A liter of beer contains an average of 20% of the recommended daily intake of fiber, and some beers can provide up to 60%. But when it is all about fiber, then just don't drink beer. You can just use something else like fruits, certain grains, veggies, whatnot. But yeah, of course, beer is a well-tasting thing, I'm not gonna lie. The average mosquito lifespan is less than 2 months. Males have the shortest life, usually 10 days or less, and females can live about 6 to 8 weeks under ideal conditions. A man with mustache touches his whiskers 760 times a day in average. Mustache, not mustache, but mustache. Interesting. If you want to test the porosity of your hair, ability to absorb moisture, you will need a few strands of your hair, which can be taken from your comb and glass of water. Healthy hair will float on the water, which means that it does not absorb the water, and on the other hand, very porous hair with an open cuticle will soak up water and sink. The more we know. I think this is going to be one of the websites that I'm going to be on in the next days as well, because I think it is pretty cool and leading to very interesting articles. One can find people from different cultures in New York City, but very few know that around 800 different languages are spoken in New York City, making it the most linguistically diverse city in the world. Which is fucking cool. I think if you're searching for culture, then New York City is a pretty good place to be. But of course, if you're searching for a very specific culture, then I don't know, just search that, I guess. Jeremiah Clark, an English composer, couldn't decide whether to commit suicide by hanging or drowning himself, so he flipped a coin. The coin landed on its edge in the mud, so he went home and shot himself instead. What a coincidence. Not coincidence, but what a thing. Barbie and Ken dolls are named after the founder's son and daughter, Barbara and Ken. Barbie's full name is Barbara Millicent Roberts, and she's from Willis, Wisconsin. I see. For the TV show Stranger Things, were auditioned 906 boys and 307 girls. The show was rejected by 15 networks before it was bought by Netflix and became an instant success. A common story, I guess, isn't it? In the first place, everything was rejected, but in the end, as J.K. Rowling also had it experienced, but in the end, everything is just really nice. You've probably been told that the best way to wash your hands is in hot water because it helps to kill bacteria, but that is actually not true. Hot water can remove natural oils from the skin, and this loose can lead to dryness and even cracking the skin. It is important that you use mild water, and I'm gonna check out this article. It is actually how stuff works. Pretty amazing site with pretty amazing quizzes. And hand washing a history. It's actually very... Another reason to avoid using hot water is that it can remove natural oils from the skin. This is what we know. It's worth mentioning that modern soaps are still effective at colder temperatures, so if you don't have access to heated water, it's still better to wash with cold water and soap than with no soap at all. With the proper water temperature in place, you're ready to move on to methods for washing your hands. Time matters here, so read on to learn a simple method of ticking off the second while you suds up. I see, and I'm gonna take a sip. Playing cards have an incredible, rich, and mysterious history. There are examples that can be traced to China dating all the way back to 1294. Early decks had no queens, which reflected the fact that cards were male dominant. They had a king and 2 marshals. Even today, Italian, Spanish, and German cards have a variation of the 3 male card cards. Yes, that's true. The exception is the French design, which does have a queen. Even though it's pretty interesting because we do also have a queen. It depends on the cards though. Of course, these cards that you see here, they have a queen, and I think they always have a queen. But there is called Doppeldeutsche, which means double German, actually, which, well, I can actually show you. They look like this, and as far, well, Or is this actually Austrian? I don't know. Can I have the English page, please? English, thank you. A hand of playing cards ace through 5. A face-up deck of cards in dealer's grip. History, China, Egypt, blah, 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 blah. Modern deck cards. Yes. Well, okay, this is actually what I've been referring to, because this is actually the case. We don't have, in the German cards, we have the heart, the bell, the acorns, and leaves. I actually didn't know that. That the French cards are the quote-unquote normal cards that you use in the casino with the heart, tiles, clovers, and peaks. While the Doppeldeutsche, and I don't know, can I double deck of playing cards? Well, I don't know. German. Well, actually, let's just have a guide there. Contemporary playing cards are grouped into 3 broad categories based on the suits they use: French, Latin, and Germanic. Latin suits are used in a closely related Spanish and Italian formats. The Swiss German suits are distinct enough to merit their subcategory, including jokers and tarot trumps. The French 52 card deck preserves the number of cards in the original Mamluk deck, while Latin and Germanic decks average fewer. I don't actually know how many, but it is French suited. Yeah, these are the French ones. We all know, I guess. But I would like to just show you the other ones. Well, actually, they look like this, like these, but have different symbols. That's quite it. But very interesting. Very, very interesting. But I wonder which article this is. dinosmagic.com. Interesting website. In addition to donating to the same blood type, zero blood donors can give to AB and AB. It's actually kind of the optimal blood you can have for donating. Emotions are contagious. Negative or unpleasant emotions are more contagious than neutral or positive emotions, which is a fucked up thing, but it is what it is. But I wonder how this website is gathering all this information, because this is from the Michigan State University. So, yeah, it's good. I'm gonna upload it. I haven't used it, but only this information is just really cool and interesting, and I appreciate that. It's an amazing site. It really is an amazing site, I'm not gonna lie. The last one. The first European who visited Australia was Dutch explorer Willem Janszoon or something in 1606. More Dutch explorers visited the country over the next 100 years, plotting maps and naming it New Holland. The next one, the last one. The emu is a massive dog with some variations in weights, anywhere between 130 to 200 pounds, and can reach heights of 24.5 to 32 inches, which is massive. Originally bred to be a fighting dog, it is considered dangerous and legally restricted in some countries. The next one. Fuck, it is so fucking addictive. A perfectly clean fire product produces almost no smoke. Smoke simply means that a fire is not burning properly and that bits of unburned material are escaping. Yeah. And with that being said, I wish you the best health, of happiness, and all success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy. Basically means just being a nice person and then being remembered as a nice person, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. 3 other questions that I have you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions hopefully going to show you your purpose and maybe even a business idea, which is a pretty cool thing as well. Another question that I have for you is, and this is a very, very important one for me indeed. what could you particularly say to somebody else that is really going to change their life? Because I believe that we all can say something. We certainly not always do that, which is a pity, but we can. We really can. And yeah, with that being said, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, and I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. So bye-bye, and stay cool and healthy, and I love you. Thank you. And shout out to the amazing people that are around me. Big ass fucking shout out.